Hey there, I'm Verity Songon and this is the Confident CEO podcast, the show that takes you behind the scenes of starting and running your small or not so small business. We will cut through the misinformation and bad advice about starting and running a business and give you actionable tips and advice that you can implement to grow, scale and achieve your business goals. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Confident CEO podcast. And I'm really surprised that this is the penultimate episode before the end of the year. I don't really know where 2022 has gone. It all just seems to have, just disappeared quite rapidly, which is exciting. So anybody who is listening to this in the run up to Christmas, it's the 20th of December that I'm recording this, and the 21st of December that it will be out there. But if you are listening to this in the run up to Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a lovely week and a wonderful weekend. So today, what I really wanted to talk about were aligned business goals, because I feel like this is the time of the year where everybody seems to be on social media talking about goal setting for the new year, which is brilliant. We all know that I love setting action plans and creating goals and all the rest of it. I am an avid planner, or an avid creator of a planner, I should say, if that's even a thing. But I think it's pretty easy to get wrapped up when we see all these different posts on social media, on LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever it is that we hang out. I think it's really easy to get wrapped up in other people's goals and almost forget sometimes that we need to have goals that are aligned to us, to our business, to our mission, our vision, our values, and all the rest of it. Because just because somebody else has got a particular goal for their business doesn't mean that we need that goal for our business. Because if we start chasing unaligned goals, or goals that just aren't aligned with our brand or with us as individuals, then the task itself is going to become just that. It's going to become a task as opposed to something that we're wanting to do and something that we are enjoying to do. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that you have seen somebody on Instagram or LinkedIn, whatever it is, and they're saying that one of their goals for 2023 is that they are going to post a video clip or a reel every single day. Now, for them, that could be an absolutely fantastic goal. It could be completely aligned with what they do. It could be that they just love being in front of the camera. They love creating that style of content, that it just seems to come easily to them, and it fits their brand really well, and it fits their messaging really well. Now, you might decide that that is a great goal that is really aligned to your business, that your audience really engages with reels, that you yourself love making reels and video content. So you might also want to adapt that goal into your own business plan and action plan for 2023 or for the coming year. But if you're somebody who's like, actually, I don't enjoy being in front of the camera in that sense, I don't enjoy editing video, I don't want or like the pressure of posting every single day, then my question to you is, why do you feel the need to adopt that goal? Because let's face it, we do feel like that sometimes. It does happen. If we see people saying, this is my goal for the next year, we can sometimes think to ourselves, oh, maybe that should be my goal. Maybe that's what I should be doing as well. Because if it's working for them, why shouldn't it work for me? But this is what I mean about how your goals need to be aligned to you and your business, and also what suits you as a person and suits you as a personality. So one of the goals that I want to achieve for 2023 is to get more media exposure on the Confident CEO side of the business, on the planner and journal range. That is something that I feel is very aligned to the business. And when I say media coverage, I really want to work on things like magazine exposure, national newspapers. Some people might think that that goal is absolutely ridiculous, and they might be saying, Verity, why don't you go for paid Facebook ads instead? Now, the reason that I don't go for paid Facebook ads at this moment in time is because it's not a marketing stream that feels aligned to me as an individual. I first of all, I very barely go on Facebook, but when I do, I am not the kind of person who clicks on Facebook ads. So I'm there thinking to myself, well, if I don't click on Facebook ads, then how can I expect other people to click on Facebook ads? So the idea of creating a Facebook ad is not something that is incredibly aligned to my values and to my business. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Facebook ads. I'm just saying that it's not something that is aligned to me personally. However, I do really enjoy engaging with adverts, with, you know, that kind of natural kind of content advertising within written articles. I enjoy engaging with that. Sorry. I enjoy engaging with that kind of content in magazines and in online magazines as well, in online newspapers. So for me, it's incredibly aligned to try and look at advertising and marketing down that route. So that's something that I'm going to explore. Now, when you've got your aligned goal, or you've got a goal that feels good to you, what I always recommend doing is action planning and working backwards and thinking to yourself, well, how am I going to achieve that goal? So I've already said that one of my goals for 2023, which I feel is very aligned to me and to my business, is actually to get the Confident CEO some kind of marketing or advertising in national newspapers and magazines. So what I then need to start doing is working backwards, because if I've just got this goal, I'm never going to achieve it without an action plan. If I'm just saying, oh yeah, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, well, how am I going to do it? Let's break down those steps to actually achieving that. So first of all, I'm going to have to start thinking, well, which newspapers do I want the Confident CEO range to appear in? Are there some newspapers where my audience are more likely to sit? So already, if I haven't done that groundwork thinking who is the ideal target audience for the Confident CEO stationery range, then that's a bit of pre-work that I need to do. But having already done that work for my brand, I need to start thinking to myself, well, which kind of newspapers are my intended audience going to be looking at? What kind of magazines are they looking at? Are they looking at the printed versions? Are they looking at the online versions? And once I've got this list of different publications, essentially, that I think my audience is aligned with and will be interacting with, then I'm going to kind of need to look at these publications myself to see, well, actually, do they do content marketing in that way? Are they a magazine or a newspaper that I can submit to? And if I'm thinking yes, then I need to action plan a little bit further and find out who is it that I can write to in that newspaper or that magazine that I can get my products featured in that particular publication, in whichever format, like I said, either in print or online. So there's stages to achieving the goal, and sometimes that can be very messy stages. Sometimes you don't know exactly how to go about these things, and other times, there is a lot of research, involved. So again, something that I'm thinking for that particular goal is I can't necessarily just write to, random newspaper, whatever newspaper I choose, for example, saying, hey, this is my product range, please advertise it, because that's not how the world works. So first of all, I need to decide, am I going to go down the press release route, or do I want to pay for ads? So if I want to have a press release, then immediately I need to be thinking about, well, am I going to employ somebody to create that press release? Am I going to write that press release myself? Personally, I've never written a press release for my own business. So again, that's some research that needs to be undertaken. I need to draft something. So already I'm seeing at least 6 different action points that need to happen before I reach that final goal of getting published. And even then, all of those actions doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to get published in these magazines. But, I need to figure out where are my audience. I need to figure out my list of potential publications that I'm going to approach and why. I need to draft a press release, which might include me writing it, or it might include outsourcing. I need to research who within the publication I'm actually going to approach. I then need to work with their processes and processes, whatever that might include or involve. So what I'm getting at here is, once you've got your aligned goal, brilliant, but then start working backwards and start thinking to yourself, how am I going to achieve this goal? Just really break it down into the tiniest steps that you possibly can. And what I like to do is I either grab my journal, it completely depends on how I'm working, when I get my ideas, how I'm feeling in that day, where I'm at, literally physically, when I'm planning my ideas. But sometimes I grab my journal, my Confident CEO journal, and I literally just write down step by step. And for my day, my reflection is literally just, this is what I'm going to do. This is my action points. And I do it as like a little bit of a tick list, because I can be quite task orientated in that sense. Or what I do is I jump on Asana. I love Asana. I use the free version. So if you're looking for some kind of project management software, I would highly recommend Asana, because as I said, it's free. And then I create literally the most detailed bullet list that you can possibly think of. I really break down those tasks and then have subtasks, because with that, I then find things much more manageable. And when you start thinking about the different goals that you want for 2023 as well, what's really important is that it doesn't matter how big or how small they feel to you. Not every goal that you set for the new year has to be absolutely huge in terms of, I'm going to recruit 20 people to my coaching program, or I'm going to set up a whole new YouTube channel. Remember that for aligned goals, they need to be personal to you and your business. So it can be absolutely anything. It could be that you are going to make sure that every single day at 9 a.m. you are going to show up and check your emails. It could be that every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. you are going to sit down and you are going to make sure that your entire inbox is clear. It could be that once a month, on the 3rd of every month, you are going to send out a monthly newsletter to your subscriber list. It could be that you are going to start a subscriber list. It really doesn't matter how big or how small your goals feel to you. The important thing is that you have your goals and then you action plan creating those goals. Because without an action plan, your goals are just random ideas that are written down on a piece of paper or floating around in your head. And on that note, I would really, really encourage you to write down any goals you have. Whenever you have them, you don't have to have an entire goal setting session where you're like, right, today, this is when I'm going to write down all of my goals. It could be that an idea just randomly comes to you. Write it down, grab your journal and write it down, because I promise you, the more you write down your goals, the more they become attainable. Because I think sometimes people are like, that's such a stupid idea. But is any idea ever stupid? I mean, I'm not being funny. I don't know Richard Branson, but just roll with this example a minute. But when Richard Branson decided he was going to create an airline section of Virgin, did that seem like a ridiculous idea when he decided to add a cruise line on? I'm sure that seemed like a ridiculous idea to somebody, but he rolled with it anyway. Ideas don't have to be sensible, quote unquote, and as long as they feel like they are somehow aligned to your business and it is something that excites you. But as I said, you write down your goals. Statistically and scientifically, you're more likely to achieve them. But also, I think just from the personal point of view, they feel more real. And when you've then got this list of goals, it could be that you work on them over the course of a week. You just grab a goal a day and sit down with yourself and go, right, let's action plan this particular goal. How am I going to achieve this goal? And it's also, on that note, okay to let go of goals. If you're thinking to yourself, I just really don't like this anymore, this isn't working for me, because each of your goals, it's your business. Each of your goals has to be something that excites you, has to be something where you're thinking, yeah, I'm really, really into this. I'm really wanting to achieve this. And you're probably thinking as well, some of you, that, I've talked on this podcast episode so far all about goals. I haven't mentioned SMART goals once. And there is a reason for this. I'm not always the biggest fan of the SMART goal approach. It works for some people, it works for some goals, it doesn't work for other people, it doesn't work for other goals. If you've not heard of SMART before, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So specific, make sure that there is a really specific goal in mind. Make sure that it's not just something really broad, such as I'm going to set up an internet business next year. Make sure it's really specific, such as I'm going to set up a social media company that helps 30 to 40-year-olds who are salon owners. That's nice and specific. You're also going to make sure it's measurable. So how are you measuring the success of your goal? Is it achievable? Have you got the resources that you need? Do you need to do some additional training, for example? Is it realistic? Can you actually achieve that goal? And sometimes you don't see it realistic, sometimes it's resources. So what kind of resources do you need? And also timely or time bound. So when do you want to achieve this goal by? Do you want to achieve it by the end of 2023? Do you want to achieve it within 4 weeks, 4 days, whatever it is? So sometimes that SMART framework works really well for people. Personally, I don't like to use this the SMART method. I much more prefer to just have a goal and action plan below how I'm going to reach that goal. But it's just different formats work for different people in that respect there. On saying that I'm not a massive fan of SMART goals, I'm actually creating a self-belief journal at the moment, which will be coming out in the first quarter, I'm hoping, of 2023. And there is a section in there about creating SMART goals, because as I said, it does work for some people a little bit more than it does others. So that's something to look out for next year as well. But in conclusion, I am so excited that we're so near the end of 2022. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, as ever, for tuning into this podcast episode. As I said, as you're scrolling through social media this week, next week, this month generally, or whenever it is, just be mindful of keeping an eye and leaning into other people's goals. It's very easy to get wrapped up in other people's goals and trying to take other people's goals and put them into your own action planning for your business. But it's remembering that goals need to be aligned to you and your business, your vision, your mission, your values, and they need to be things that you are excited to achieve and things that, you know, just really make you want to get out of bed in the morning and work towards achieving them. And once you've got those goals, I can't stress this enough, making sure you've got an really, really tangible and a really specific and detailed action plan to help you achieve those goals. As ever, I would love if you could contact me. Let me know what you think about this episode. Tag me on Instagram or DM me on Instagram at VeritySongon. I would love to know what your business goals are for next year and how you are going to set about achieving them. So feel free to drop me a DM. I would love to start that conversation with you. I have mentioned a couple of times in this episode the Confident CEO Journal. It is now available, which I'm super excited about, at theconfidentceo.store. That is all linked down in the show notes. It is free shipping for UK orders. And yes, we do also do international shipping as well. We have already sent our first 2 journals off to America, one to the East Coast, one to the West Coast, which I'm super excited about. That within the first couple of weeks of launch, the Confident CEO Journal has already gone international. So thank you so much to everybody who has supported the journal coming to fruition. But if you are looking for a really beautiful and, you know, luxury piece of stationery to help you record your 2023 year in business, then I would really recommend, obviously I'm biased, but I'd really recommend and love for you to check out the Confident CEO Journal at theconfidentceo.store. And if you sign up to the newsletter, there is a banner at the top of the page. If you sign up to the newsletter, you get 10% off your first order as well. Think of it as an early Christmas present or an early welcome to 2023 present from me to you. Thank you so much for listening, and as ever, have a fantastic week, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Confident CEO podcast. Before you go, I would absolutely be overjoyed if you could take just 2 minutes to leave me a review in Apple Podcasts. Reviews are a great way to tell Apple Podcasts how much you enjoyed the show, and it helps the algorithm to push out the podcast to more people, thereby helping us to help empower even more badass businesswomen to grow their inner CEO and grow to be the confident CEO of their business that they can be. I love to shout you out in your reviews as well, so you never know, you might be hearing your name on the podcast in the next episode. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.